Brought to you by Diversity Unlimited.
Hello and welcome to the Nickel and Dime Press video page, where I strive to help you avoid getting nickeled and dimed to death by life, and instead to learn to nickel and dime life back, where I know that if you mind the pennies, the dollars will follow. This is part 4 of the high school tax class, and today we're going to be talking about the Form 1040. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with all of your friends. Remember, it's free and it helps me to rank in the YouTube algorithm. So thank you. This video is the first in a series of videos covering the tax form 1040. The Form 1040 is the basic form that you will fill out every year for the rest of your life as a wage earner. There are many other forms for a variety of tax reasons, but the Form 1040 is the form for the individual taxpayer. The 1040 can change from year to year, with various lines being added or subtracted as Congress adds or subtracts certain tax laws, but the format of the form is always the same. I will be teaching you the format in the next few videos, and as well as a few specific line items that you will need to know. So let's begin now with a basic overview. Every year by April 15th, you are required to file the Form 1040 to report your previous year's income, figure the tax that you owed, and either pay or receive back the difference between what was paid and what was owed. It is legal for you to fill out and report your own taxes each year. You're not required to hire a tax service or a preparer. Each year you have to report your year-end taxes from the previous year. It's a less expensive option than hiring a person or a service. Of course, I'm a tax preparer, so I admit I am biased to people hiring a tax pro. But honestly, preparing your own taxes is not something that you cannot do for yourself. If you're willing to put in the time and the effort, I actually find it enjoyable, and I don't see any reason why you would not too, if that's your cup of tea. All right, so let's take a bird's eye view of the Form 1040 in this video. We're just going to do the first section. There are 4 major sections to the form. These are 1. The personal information section, 2. The income and deductions section, 3. Payments and credits section, and 4. The refund or payment section. With the remainder of this video, we are going to explore the first section of the personal information. Now, the personal information section breaks down into 4 sections as well. 1. The filing status, 2. The digital assets, 3. The standard deduction, and 4. The dependents. Under the filing status, you will check a box which asks if you are single, married filing jointly, married filing separately, head of household, or a qualifying surviving spouse. To file single, you simply must not have been married for 6 months out of the year. As a young person, this is likely your proper filing status. Married filing jointly is only for a legally married spousal team. This status gets the best treatment because Congress is encouraging marriage, couples, and children. It's good for the economy for families to have children. Right now in America, we're experiencing a shortage of laborers simply because not enough children have been born to keep up with the pace of job growth. And so Congress uses the tax laws to try to encourage the people to go this way or that way. So right now they're trying to encourage families to have children. Married filing separately is a tax status that allows a married couple to file separate tax returns. This status is the least favored for all the tax benefits, but sometimes, rarely, it makes sense for couples to file this way. This is where a tax professional, knowing your financial situation, would be most helpful. The head of household is a status that is for the person who is single, but who is dependents and the expenses of keeping up a home. It's a more favored tax status than the single status, but it's not as beneficial as the married filing jointly status. Then there is the qualifying surviving spouse status. This status is for the widow or widower whose spouse has died and there are dependent children in the picture. For 2 years after the death of a spouse, the surviving spouse gets treated with the same benefits as if they were married filing jointly with their spouse. After this 2-year period, though, surviving spouse will then file head of household if there are still dependents in the home, or dependent children, that is. If not, then they'll just be switched to single. Under the check boxes is a section for you and your spouse to put your names or your social security numbers. Use your legal name here as shown on your social security card, and then enter your social security number. As a pro tip, I suggest that you memorize your social security number because you will have this for the rest of your life. Your phone number will change, your spouse might change, your job will change, and your address will change, but your social security number will never change, so I suggest memorizing it. Trust me, it's helpful in the long run, so someday you'll probably thank me if you do memorize it. Under the names is your address. Don't put any P.O. boxes, just use your legal mailing address, the same one that's on your driver's license. Then there is the presidential election campaign $3 contribution question. Now, I've never known anyone to check yes here, including myself. Doing so, though, does not increase your taxes, but rather it simply designates $3 of the taxes you did pay to go to a special fund that assists in all the presidential parties and major candidates running for president on election time. You are completely free to make this designation or not. It does not matter. It doesn't change anything on your tax form, and I don't think the government looks favorably upon you when you do. But you don't get gigged if you don't, and you don't get benefit if you do. So it's a freebie. Do you want $3 of the taxes you're paying to go to presidential campaign? Then check yes. All right, the next section is the digital assets section. It's a simple yes and no question of whether you received or sold any cryptocurrencies during the year. If you did, you would mark yes. If all you did was move crypto from one wallet to another and did not make any transactions, then you can mark no here. It's just an informational piece as the IRS gears up for tracking this new medium of income in America. And so if you've received or sold or gotten rid of or given any crypto coin, make sure you mark yes there. Now, the standard deduction section wants to know if you or your spouse is a dependent of someone. This means, does someone else claim you as a deduction on their taxes? As a young person in high school, or even as a college student who is under 27, it is likely that your mom and dad are footing most of the bills. Checking here alerts the IRS that you will not be taking certain tax benefits because somebody else will be getting them instead. Warning here, make sure that you check with your parents about who's claiming what. The IRS's computers will notice if your parent takes you as a deduction and you take yourself as your own deduction as well. This is considered double dipping, and the IRS says,
Ew, no double dipping.
There's a check mark for a spouse who is filing as a married filing single or someone who is a dual status alien. This isn't likely your status as a high school student, so I'm not going to talk much about it here. As the final part of the filing status section, there is a place that lists your legal dependents. As a high schooler, I'm assuming you don't have any dependents to declare. However, remember what I said about the IRS computer knowing if there's double dipping going on? It's here that they'll figure it out. If your parent fills your name in here on their form, then the IRS computer is likely to figure it out. It's like the BAT computer that way. It'll figure things out. It does a lot of cross-referencing. The last two check boxes of each line are to tell the IRS which dependent qualifies for the child tax credit or the earned income credit. Those are for people who have children and that they're claiming the credits for those children. That pretty much covers it. The filing status of the Form 1040 is pretty straightforward. Be sure to use your legal name that's listed on your Social Security card, and then check with your parents so that you both know who's taking whose deduction. You just don't want them to accidentally take you if you plan on taking yourself. And if you do these things, you'll be sure to be fine when you file the 1040. In the next video, I'll be going over the income section of the 1040 with you and explaining the many forms of income that you might have and that you'll need to report. Thank you for giving me the privilege of your time. I hope this information has been helpful to you. If so, please remember to subscribe, like, comment on, and love, and share this video. And then I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Cheers, 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 cheers.